Top of the morning. It's a beautiful, beautiful Monday morning. I am excited that I got lots of stuff to do today. Idle hands, devil's workshop, that fun stuff. Ever since I became a lawyer, my brain has had nothing but on time, just going, figuring, thinking, dwelling on ongoing cases and dwelling on questions posed to me in YouTube chat and Discord, things like that. Just always something driving my brain forward. It's been different. While I was waiting on getting accepted into the bar, I was just working part-time as a salesman. Lots and lots of time just to sit on my thumbs and twiddle them. It's such a pleasant experience. So it's kind of weird going from being always on or being always off in my brain to being always on. I don't know. There's a part of me that appears to enjoy it though, so I'm not necessarily completely upset over it. There was a point in my life where I loved to play video games. I loved to play video games up until the point where I started studying in earnest for the bar exam. And that was a rush. That was, it was for the, I studied for the February 2017 bar. I did the Amblin study. I was going to do self-study. I had bought a book, just a general California bar prep book. And, I was just straight reading it. Man, it's hard to wrap your heads around some of these notions. I graduated from law school in 2000, and to be perfectly blunt, since I wasn't thinking about being a lawyer, I figured I wasn't going to be a lawyer somewhere in the middle of my second year. It just didn't seem like it was what I wanted to do. I can honestly say that I wasn't doing what a lot of the other students were doing at that time. I wasn't living the life. I wasn't reviewing various first year concepts. So when I decided to go back to law school and I got that bar prep book, I started reading it. I'm like, wait, what? And a lot of these concepts, now that I've been playing in them for so long, they're kind of second nature to me. And so I apologize if sometimes I come across as like, oh, you're just being retarded. It was tough. So I got that bar prep book during the summer, and started reading up on it, and I figured that there's just no way in hell I was gonna be able to do it off of that bar prep book. So I remembered there was two. There's Amblin and there was Barbary, and so I just picked one at random. There's two big ones anyway. And called up Amblin, gave him a couple grand, and signed up for the little course. And much to my amazement, shock, like, yeah, okay, so you're doing it the February one. So basically you're going to get access like just after Thanksgiving. If I remember correctly, it was like a week before December. And I'm doing these calculations in my head. Thank you. Doing some calculations in my head. That's like less than 3 months of actually, I guess it would be technically almost exactly 3 months of actual study time. I'm like, wow, I don't know if I'm going to be ready for this, considering what I've forgotten. So I think that week they sent the books ahead of time, but again, it doesn't always make sense. There is some benefit to having somebody kind of explain it, in my experience anyway. It's hard to pick it up just from the book. So they gave access to some of the pre-videos, and they're like, look, this is going to be like a full-time job for you. You know, you're probably going to be doing this like 8 hours a day minimum. And, you know, and you may have to do more. We definitely want you to take a day off. You need to take a day off. And I'm like, yeah, right, buddy. So luckily I was only working like 3-ish days a week. But man, I felt those 3 days. You go in, you come back out, and you're like, oh crap, I got a lot of studying to do. And the other days, man, it was a full-time job. At that time, since I didn't have to be anywhere necessarily, I'd get up at 7, I'd walk the dogs, you know, feed them, come back, pour myself a giant cup of coffee, and start into it. Yeah, and it got my mind going, you know. I found that, you know, I tried to take Sundays off, and my mind would still be chewing on all this stuff that I didn't know yet, and I needed to know it. So eventually I just stopped taking Sundays off because I couldn't handle it, or I'd do like little mini study sessions. But my point is that, you know, I lost my taste for. I thought I was going to be all about playing a video game, you know, get done studying, you know, let the mind unwind, play a video game. Video games lost all of their flavor. So I guess my mind likes being on all the time. So Ed made a video, maybe it was last night, maybe it was this morning, I didn't check to see when he made it, but he is all just flustered that he thinks he led me astray about the news and photography section of 39 CFR 232.1 being subsection H5I instead of being section I. You know, it's I actually saw it on Cornell, I think, that way. I think Cornell screwed up the formatting or misinterpreted it or whatever. It's not a huge deal. I wouldn't recommend taking your videos down. Number one, it shows where you've come from to where you are. So like I have all my old videos up. Do I say some things that I'm not particularly proud of? Do I say things that are actually demonstrably wrong? Yeah, I do. You know, I've learned though, so when I get people back in those old videos commenting, just smile and nod, say thanks for the comment. Hey, at least someone's still watching it. And there are still, you know, like even with your video, there are still things to be gleaned from it. There's still knowledge to be gained. It's not a complete waste of time for someone to go through it. So I don't recommend taking them down. I think you'll be all right, buddy. If someone brings it up, if they find that little flaw, that diamond in the rough, then you can congratulate them on paying attention to your video and point them to the new video where you corrected the mistake, and maybe you'll get 2 views out of it instead of just 1. That's my 2 cents anyway. I don't, I don't necessarily like everything I've done in the past, but I did it, and it may explain why I'm at where I'm at today. So maybe that'll help you. And then I was thinking about Leon Valley. Lots of people, oh, everybody wants to talk about Leon Valley. And, oh, these auditors, boy, it's just a slam dunk case. Again, I'm not saying that they have no case. I'm just saying that their case isn't as freaking amazing as they think it's going to be. I did spend some time on Lexis. You can look up lawyers on LexisNexis. And I looked up Mr. Radner, and he's been a busy boy. Seems like he got his start suing the state for prisoner grievances, where they felt that they were denied appropriate medical attention, things like that. His last 5 cases that he's run through that have actually completed, that are on LexisNexis, I think he's won one of them, or maybe that was a motion. And the other 4, I don't think he did very well on, if I remember correctly. You could obviously look it up if you go to your county law library, pull up LexisNexis. I'm not saying he's a bad lawyer. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, you know, a lawyer can make the difference, but a bad case to start is a bad case to start, and there's really not a whole lot you can do to change that. And especially if there's a good lawyer on the other side, a good lawyer with a good case on the other side against you, no matter how good of a lawyer you are, unless you're Johnny Cochran, you're probably not gonna get what you want. So he is very active. I don't think anybody should be terribly impressed about the Pulse nightclub lawsuit that he's on. He did just file it. That one has an even worse odds of winning than the Leon Valley case. I do want to caution everybody about the assumptions that everybody draws. Like everybody's telling me, oh, you know, News Now Houston was detained for 2 hours. Well, what actual evidence do we have of that besides News Now Houston's statement? Because quality of evidence matters. Is his statement evidence? Well, if he says it in court, if he's willing to say in court, then yeah, it's going to be evidence. If he says it in court, that's eyewitness testimony, that's evidence in court. The problem with relying on evidence of that nature is that it can be countered by a police officer who is also a witness, arriving in court and saying, nope, he didn't say that. Or nope, he wasn't detained for 2 hours. And then in that case, the jury is going to get to figure out who to believe. And I don't know if the prosecution or the defense, if the lawyers for Leon Valley and the various officers are going to be able to get Mr. Worden's history in. I don't think they will, unless he has some conviction. I don't think they'll be able to get his sex offender status in, because that doesn't have anything to do with his trustworthiness as far as like truth telling. But if he's committed anything like fraud or perjury or anything like that in the past, then they'd be able to get that in. But since his lawyer's making great hay about how these guys being law-abiding members of society, then maybe the defense attorneys will be able to get evidence of the non-law-abiding nature of these guys brought in. Maybe. Again, I'm walking my dogs. I'm not looking at the Texas rules of evidence right now, so just slow your roll. I'm kind of operating on a general understanding of the federal rules of evidence and the California rules of evidence. So it doesn't seem likely that they'll be able to get the criminal records of these guys brought in. But if it is somehow brought up because of the way the claim is written, that these are law-abiding members of society, then it would be the word of a police officer against the word of a criminal, known offender, ex-felon. There we go. So another fun thing is that I did notice that the Bateau Size lawyer bowed out. I don't believe that Mr. Radner was in any way, shape, or form associated with Turner v. Driver. So one must ask one's self why Mr. Turner's lawyer wasn't just beating down the front door to get on board on this particular litigation. Why they had to go to Mr. Radner, who I'm sure wasn't and wouldn't be their first choice in order to get things done. And again, I'm not saying that Mr. Radner is a bad attorney. The complaint was uncompelling, to say the least, but I'm not saying he's a bad attorney. And he may win. Like, again, I'm going to stress that the seizing the witnesses, I still think that's the best angle that they have to attack from. So we'll see how that plays out. Anyway, I guess those are my thoughts for Ramblin this morning. It's July 9th, if anybody cares. And if you don't, it's still July 9th. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.